This is the examination of the hidden human condition.
You're listening to the Hidden Killers Podcast.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski.
We are talking with Robin Dreeke on this segment, Hidden Killers contributor and former FBI special agent, about Rex Heuermann. He has been taken off of suicide watch as of this recording. With someone like this, where it's mounting to be pretty damning against him, and he's sitting in jail, he's an older dude, it wouldn't be that shocking, I think, if he did decide to end his life. Is this a good idea to take someone like that off of a suicide watch, or is it really very stressful on resources to really keep somebody on there for a long period of time?
Curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I saw that they took him off suicide watch, I was like, wow, he was on suicide watch?
Yeah, I didn't even know he was to begin with, but yeah.
Yeah, I need to take a look at this deeper, but I wouldn't think he would be suicidal necessarily. So let's look at serial killers for a second. One of the driving motivations of them is sensationalism, fantasy seeking, and since they all edge up high in psychopathy, they're about grandiosity and notoriety. And so, like the BTK killers and things like that, and even the guy we're going to be talking about, Randolph, these people love the spotlight, so they wouldn't be suicidal. So I found it interesting he was on suicide watch. I wonder what prompted it.
With someone like that, yeah, the grandiosity, you don't typically see an individual like that, I guess, do the act of actually committing suicide. Or do we, when things are very dire for them and literally all turns have been exhausted for their ways of trying to manipulate themselves out of accusations?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I listened to his lawyer speak earlier today, and it was interesting because the lawyer seems as convinced as he can be that Rex is innocent because Rex was so defiantly innocent. He was like, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. And yet the really damning stuff is that his wife's hair is found on 3 of the bodies. That's, it's hard to get over that one. I mean, that's a hard one to explain away.
It is.
So it's interesting.
It's a very hard one to explain away. And I think we can look at it from the prism of, okay, it's a burlap sack. Things do tend to stick to it. And if these were in the house, it's likely that hair would accumulate from people who are in that house on a regular basis. But also at the same time, there were more of her hairs on the sacks than his. Should law enforcement be taking a closer look at the wife? From what we know, they haven't talked to her, which I find shocking. That's been a statement from their attorney. It's been made other places as well, that they cleared her initially right away. And as far as we know, as of right now, still is. But I don't know. I mean, why would you not sit down and have a conversation with this woman right away?
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Especially given that her DNA, because of the hair, was found with the bodies. So the only thing you can draw conjecture on then is that they have a preponderance of information that says that she wasn't part of it.
Okay.
Maybe part of that house search being so extensive was part of it was clearing her. Maybe not with intent to clear her, but as a byproduct of it. Because again, if you go in with intent to clear someone, you have a confirmation bias, and that's never good. But you would think if her DNA was found with the deceased bodies, that she would at least be interviewed early. So I think it'll be interesting when it hits the court to kind of see the what, for, and why on it. Because yeah, you would think that she'd be interviewed, or maybe they're planning on it coming up.
I'm just wondering, because it doesn't seem to make any sense. Even if you have her cleared, and you have proof that she really had nothing to do with this, but she was sharing a house with him and whatnot, why would you not, at the very least, just have the conversation to learn about what she has to say about what life was like there, what she has observed, what she hasn't observed?
Yeah, I know.
It seems, isn't that just kind of like regular protocol? It seems very awkward. That has not been done. Or is there a strategy to not having talked to her yet, put her back in the environment where she's lived her life, and observe and watch for a little while to see if there is any sort of incriminating behavior? Could that be part of the strategy?
It could be. Yeah, well, the one thing I definitely think is part of a strategy of some sort, only because they reopened the cold case and they're able to bring it to a charge like this after so long says that there was some intelligent people with some wherewithal that are running it. So there's got to be a reason and a strategy that they're not interviewing her or haven't interviewed her yet. I know that she was under cancer treatment. Maybe they're being respectful of that. Who knows? But you're right. It'll be interesting because I think she's going on the news coming up, as of us recording this. And so I think we'll probably learn more about what she says on TV than we do from law enforcement, maybe.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Brueski.